I'm here to tell you, you sure look fine, but I won't let you play around with my mind. We can have a great time if you follow the rules. Don't mess with my heart. Hello everybody, this is Jose Ramirez, all the way from Costa Rica, and we're here at Van de Moor Kortrijk to showcase the Peavey Classic 30. I'm here to warn ya, I'm not a one-woman man. I learned to play the guitar when I was a kid. You know, I was just a young kid growing up in Costa Rica. I've always liked guitar music, and my dad realized that at a very young age I had certain aptitude for it. So he suggested, I remember being 9 or 10 years old, when my dad suggested that I should study blues music, just listened to a lot of blues music before I even picked up a guitar. Since I didn't go to music school, my dad thought that if I learned from the records, that would have turned me into a more organic performer, you know, a more soulful performer per se. And yeah, those were my instructors, you know. I joke with people at my shows because I tell the crowd that my guitar teachers were B.B. King and you know, John Lee Hooker and Robert Johnson and all these great guys. And they really were. They still are, you know. That was my only source of knowledge at that point. The one thing that really changed my my career at one point was in 2020, my band in Washington, D.C., we competed at something called the International Blues Challenge in Memphis. And out of 250 bands, we got second place. So that's really what put Jose Ramirez in the blues map, you know, in the industry of blues in the U.S. I'm in the mood. Mood for love. I'm in the mood, I'm in the mood. You know, in my experience of touring in the U.S., specifically touring states like Mississippi and Louisiana, I get to play in little juke joints, is what we call in the States, blues bars. And some of these very old bars from the 70s and the 80s, they still carry Peavey amps. And I've had the chance to play in some of those amps, through some of those amps. And I'm always very positively surprised with what's coming from the amp. I've mostly played, the few times I've had the opportunity, I've performed through Peavey amps that are solid state. I've never played through a Peavey amp that was a tube amp, all tube. And watching reviews online, of course, discover this this reamped amp that it's pretty strong, you know. It's I'm used to playing tube amps, bigger tube amps, heavy tube amps. And when you do this touring live and you have to carry your amp from one country to the other and you have to lift it every night, it's not good for your back, first of all. So I've always looked for an option that gives me the same power, the same headroom that a more famous amp would give me, tube amp. And I found it in Peavey because this whole new model of amp that is inspired on a classic really gives me exactly that. It gives me the headroom, it gives me the air that I want to push in those tubes, you know, without the weight of a very, very heavy tube amp. As a tip for younger aspiring guitar players, I can tell them, if a young kid from Costa Rica in Latin America was able to get to where I am today, I think anybody could do it. It's just the drive thing. You have to have drive, you have to have passion for what you do, you have to believe in yourself, because nobody is going to help you get there. I mean, there will be people along the way that will help you and guide you through, but it's going to be you at the end of the day. Nobody's going to make sacrifices for you. You have to make those sacrifices to get to where you want to be. I fell in love with blues music when I was a young kid growing up in Costa Rica. And like my second album title goes, Major League Blues. It was a dream for me to come to the US and play in blues clubs in Chicago and play at Buddy Guy's Legends and the House of Blues and many other blues clubs in the US, and really reach what I like to call the Major League Blues. So if somebody coming from such a small country as Costa Rica was able to do it, and nowadays I get to travel really the world with my music, that means that it just takes effort, it just takes drive, and don't let nobody ever tell you you're not gonna make it. Just prove them wrong, you know.